I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that change the things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. And so much more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. We have the power to change our life. We have the power to change our lives.
Thank you. Based on that song, our choir today is called Power Rangers. We do have the power. Thank you, Barbara Whitney, our music director. And thank you, Jasper, for singing along. Scary to get up here and sing, but he did it anyway because you have the power. I want to welcome everyone, people that showed up today. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for everyone out in the Ethernet. We're happy you're here with us. Your spirit comes through strongly, even though you're not here and present in the physical form. We certainly share your spirit with you. If it's your first time, we welcome you. And as we go through the service, you'll learn a little bit more about us. For those in the room, would you please silence your cell phones? For those at home, please silence your dogs and cats. Good luck with the cats. So today we have our daily word. We have a daily word every day. And I usually start my day with that because it sets my intention, my mind in a positive way so that as things happen during the day, I can go back to that positive thought and re-empower myself. Today's word is thoughtful. My kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing to the world. So are yours. Today I bring the love and peace of God to all of my encounters by being thoughtful. More than politeness and deeper than kindness, thoughtfulness means I consider the comfort and happiness of others equal to my own. My intention is to let those in my life know what they mean to me. I may reach out to someone who needs an encouraging word, letting them know they have what it takes to succeed. I may surprise someone with a kind act, anticipating a need and taking care of something for them before they even have to ask. Each thoughtful word and act lets those in my life know how important they are to me and how worthy they are of my time and attention. And our scripture today is from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16. Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God, the God in you and the God in me. Thoughtful. Be thoughtful today. One of the things I do when I'm starting to feel myself sort of drift away from positivity is I sit down and write thank you notes to people. I don't know exactly how that works, but by showing gratitude to other people, it lifts me up, and then I am able to feel grateful. We have a mission statement that we take pretty seriously and try to accomplish each day in our own way. It'll be scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Won't you say it with us, please? We are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. That's something we can all do every day. My name's Lynn Richard. I've been a member of Unity of the Seacoast since about 2003. I remember that because Charlie and I got married in 2002, and it was the next year that we were invited to Unity of the Seacoast to sing with a gospel group that we were in. Little did I know what I was in for. So we came and we sang, and it was wonderful, and the people were really nice. And then I listened to our Reverend at that time, David Tompkinson, and I still get God bumps when I think of it. It was the first time in my life I felt I belonged. I truly, actually belonged. But it felt like a comfortable old sneaker with a hole in it. It was like, oh, I'm home. And Charlie felt the same way. So we've been coming ever since. And we've visited unities around the country. You're still home. It's wonderful. It's just a wonderful feeling. I count on that a lot these days, especially with the woes of sort of the world and my own life changing and making moderations for age and situations. I know I'm never alone. And you can feel that way too. If you join us, you're welcome to join us here and or online, whatever's more comfortable for you. And I think that if you join us regularly between Tom's talks, who's the real deal, and sort of our spirit and our love will go out to you, and you'll start feeling you're not alone either. We have a website that we would like you to visit. You're going to find a lot of interesting things on there, a lot of our past services. And there's a lot of, I go back and look at some that when I need something. So if I really want joy, I go to our Christmas Eve service because that just makes me happy every time. But there are others. You just look at sort of the title of them, and whatever you're feeling you need spiritually on that day, you can watch that service. And on the website, there's also some historical writings that I find very interesting. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, who started, they never intended to start a church, but they started, I guess, a belief system and a movement, New Thought. And their writings are very old-fashioned, but very meaningful, along with newer writings from some of our very own congregants. Bonnie, yours is on there too. Beautiful poem about prosperity. And while you're on there, you will notice on the front page a blue donate button. And this is how we stay here, is with the help of everybody pitching in a little bit. When you hit the blue donate button, you'll go to a platform called Tidely. It's a very easy donation system. I find it's one of the easier ones. And once you set yourself up, you can just tap on that, go straight, hi Linda, straight to your your account, I guess, and then donate what you feel inspired to. And that's what tithing is based on. When you feel inspired by something, whether it's us or somewhere else, as long as you are following the law of prosperity, abundance is everywhere. If you would rather write a check, then you can mail it. We call it snail mail. It does get here eventually. And our mailing address is Unity of the Seacoast, the McConnell Center, Suite 246. It's 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire, 03820. And the first Monday of every month, my husband, Charlie Bouchard, a Unity trained chaplain, does a meditation on our Facebook page at 7 p.m. It's brief but deep, and I invite you to try it. So 7 o'clock, the first Monday on our Facebook page. And thank you, Charlie, for doing that. We also broadcast on YouTube, and I prefer that when I'm home because I can see it on my big screen TV and I can actually see everything and hear a little bit better. So for those of you who use YouTube, you just go and search Unity of the Seacoast and we will come up. There are some old services there. Eventually we'll have many. And it's kind of nice if you take an hour a week, couple hours a week to do something like that, whether it's our service or another church, some kind of spiritual healing. That is self-care. So is a spa and a manicure, but spiritual self-care is important too. And we're pretty excited because October 2nd, our own Bev Raymond, who is in ministerial school, training to be a Unity minister, will be doing the talk that day. Tom finally gets a day off, well-deserved, sort of, he's saying, maybe kind of, sort of. But Bev will be here, and I'm really looking forward to that. She has done the service a couple times before, and she's just very sweet and easy to understand, I guess. October 8th, we're having a walk run, or the community here is doing a walk run, joining in to raise money for the Rochester Child Care Center. And I started my training, with my granddaughter, Mariah, and I only made it a little over a mile the first time, but I'm up to over 2 miles. And by October 8th, I don't want to embarrass her, so I'm in training. And I'm not going to run, I'm going to walk, but still. It's a great family thing. Tom and Casey are going to be there, and Charlie and I, and our grandchildren will be there, and their parents, and my daughter and her husband will be there. So it's going to be a fun thing. And if you're not up for the walk or the run, just come, cheer us on. I'm going to need all the help I can get. So if you, you can either just Google the Rochester Child Care Center and that'll come up in the event and the fundraising will come up. You can register. It is, we're already past the 15th. So the registration now would be $30. Or you can just donate to that also. My mother-in-law, who's going to be 90 soon, just gave me some money. She used to do the walks with us, but not anymore. And this is really exciting. On October 28th, we're going to be doing an outdoor service at the Henry Law Band Shell, Hat Shell, Rotary Club Shell. It's called a lot of things, but it's right in Henry Law Park. And I'm pushing for costumes. We have to wear costumes, right? It's Halloween. No, I'm not getting a lot of positive reaction on that. I'll be in costume. I'll be the one you're all avoiding. And today is a special day. A group of congregants who have been together for many, many years are going to celebrate our friend Mangala's birthday. She's been here a long time. Every time I think of Mangala, her blue eyes, she has these piercing, beautiful blue eyes. She's such a beautiful woman. She's been homebound for the last 2 years, and our community has surrounded her with love regularly, and I know she appreciates it. And she is always in our thoughts and prayers. Happy birthday, Mangala. We also have another practice that pretty much every unity I've gone to does. It's called Namaste. It's a greeting, and it's a special greeting from soul to soul, from heart to heart. And we do that greeting by putting our hands in prayer position. Take a deep breath and look deeply into the eyes of a loved one or mine. And we say, Namaste. The Christ in me greets, recognizes, and loves the Christ in you. Namaste. Now it's time for the Power Rangers again. They wouldn't let me wear a costume for that.
Things go wrong, natural to wonder what's left still room that I break. When things go right, it's logical to ponder what credit can I take. But the truth is so much easier. Don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life's in good hands. I don't need to know where the way goes, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how the pain is, how my heart bends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. Still I find crying for answer. Guess I'm still craving control, and still I find I'm afraid taking chances as if I could damage my soul. That the minute I surrender becomes so clear to me. This moment I remember, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where the wind blows, because God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, because God knows. I need never know how the pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. I need never know how the pain ends, how my heart bends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I can just let go. 'Cause God knows.
It's so good to sing with my friends. So now it's time for me to introduce our speaker, Tom. Today is I am, I can, I will. This is a really powerful statement, Tom, that you made. I am is our name in the eyes of the Lord. I am. I can. Not I can't. I can. And I don't need to find the way by myself. I always have Spirit along with me. And I will. I will take what it takes to do what needs to be done. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it, Tom. Thank you.
Lynn, thanks. Everybody, thanks. Seriously, you have no idea what having a choir does for me back there. It's for someone to get up and sing. It's not an easy task. It takes nerves to get up here. But to me, it's just a thank you to the universe that we get to do this. I sit back there. I'm grinning from ear to ear, and I thank all three of you. And each week there's evolving members, and that says something about us, that everybody wants to step up and be something. And again, I'm the thinker. I cannot be defined. That's such a integral part of my talk today because we are individuals. We don't want to be defined by our labels, by our limits, but what we have been talking about. And I'm going to start by relating something that happened this week. For those of you who don't know, I am going through some major kidney issues. I switched transplant centers to Tufts in Boston. My numbers are probably the worst that they've been since my last transplant 26 years ago. Through the whole process of this, I've refused to accept that label of being a kidney patient. I mean, I know the body does what the body does. You overcome a lot. You can self-heal. But there are times that the body does what it does. I mean, as much as I believe in Charles and Myrtle Fillmore self-healing, they eventually too had to succumb to what their body did. So the search starts for a kidney for me. And it's nothing I am comfortable with when they talk about that. Because when I accept it, I'm kind of saying, well, I'm not giving up on myself. But at the same time, I can accept it because I know I have the ability to fight through. It does not define me. And this center was so in line with that. I've not spoken to a group of doctors like who are just so focused on my quality of life as opposed to the reason I switched was each doctor at Dartmouth Hitchcock had a tunnel vision about their job, and I was left on the fringes of my own healing. So I had to use I am, I can, I will a lot in the past couple months. And these statements have been rolling around in my head. They took up residence in my head because Frank, I hope this you're watching, Frank loves to send me notes and laminated signs and all these just to keep reminding me of my spirituality. And he sent me a laminated paper with I am, I can, and I will. It's hanging up in my office. So every time I go in my office, I look and I see that. And I love that because they're so simple. Charles Fillmore, again, who I love, had several mantras and affirmations. But for me, they're too wordy. You know, when I'm at the gym and I need something quick or in a situation, it's hard for me to break out Charles's most famous one. I fairly sizzle with zeal, energy, enthusiasm, eager to do, which ought to be done by me today. I mean, that's just clunky. But the short version of that is I am, I can, and I will. And don't get me wrong, he's a brilliant man. He's got a lot of quotes that I use and listen to, and I love reading his books as well as Will Myrtle's, but I need it easier. I'm just not that guy. I have a mentor that I talk with now and then, and he loves the long affirmations. I'm like, all right, Russell, I get it. You know, I'm at 59. I'm about to move into my next decade of life. And when I was a child, it was easy for me to say I can, I am, and I will. Because as a child, I had not put any limits on what my dreams could be. I could see anything. You want to talk to someone without limits, talk to a child. Listen to their ideas, their plans, their hopes for the future. You know, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be a baseball player, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. Because they don't see that. You know, there's a guy named Mike McDaniels who wrote in his Pee Wee League helmet, I will make it. And then he wound up playing wide receiver at Yale. But he didn't make it to the NFL as a player. He just didn't have that skill, but it did not limit his dream. He worked so hard at that by 2005, at the age of 22, he was hired by the Denver Broncos as a coaching intern. So he kind of made it to the NFL, but he still worked hard. He worked hard so much that he's now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and he still carries that helmet with him, that I will make it. Because part of I am is I will. You have to understand that you can and will do anything. You know, Jesus had 7 I am statements, all from John. I am the true vine. I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the gate. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Now, all these can be taken in the context of John's agenda, but they can also be taken in any way that you like. I'm a big fan of interpreting the Bible as the way that it fits you in the moment. These statements are statements of power and faith. And I'm always cognizant of the fact that Jesus expected us to do the things that he does and more. And by that, he lived to his highest potential and expects us to do the same. None of his teachings are doctrines. None of his teachings are about building a religion. They're about building ourselves. So if we can accept that, we can look at those I ams and turn them toward ourselves. And I'll turn them toward you. You are the vine. You are from which the fruits of your labors grow and come from. You are the bread of life because you are the nurturing force in your life. You are the light of the world. You set an example in your life by all that you do, and by that you can be a beacon to others. You are the good shepherd. You are the caretaker of your life, and you are the caretaker for that which is around you. You are the resurrection and the life. You have the ability to raise yourself up in each new moment. You have the ability to create and be the life that you want to lead. You are the way, the truth, and the life. It is through you that you experience God in your life. You know within you what works, what your highest nature is. You know when you're aligned with all your beliefs and all that you hope to be. Our life is when we are congruent with our desires and our actions and words and thoughts. We use terms to attach things to us. We attach our hopes or our fears. We attach wholeness or illness. And this is the law of attraction. Attach yourself to what's congruent with the life that you want to live. And that life that you want to live begins to manifest. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want next year to look like? Next month, next week, the rest of the day, the next moment. You want love? And say, I am love, and I will make it so. I can make it so. Does this work? Well, it depends on the effort, the belief, and the commitment that you have in this. But I know I was once a depressed, suicidal 49-year-old. I worked hard, who became a happy 51-year-old man, holding the hand of the woman of my dreams. Why? Because I learned to make it a point to be happy. I learned to align my thoughts, actions, and desires, my thought, action, and deeds with my desires. Casey's love enhances my happiness, and that's in me. Hopefully, I do the same for her. But if you want love, then be love. I am love, I will love, I can love. The same thing with happiness and wholeness and anything that you want out of your life. You know, when I add love to playing my guitar, I became so much better at playing my guitar. When I learned to love the gifts that my hands could fix anything, I began to enjoy something which I dreaded. I used to not like the thought that I was only my hands because I was convinced that by being my hands, I was not my mind, that that's all that I was. It's so much the opposite. Eventually, I learned that it's my mind, my thoughts that dictate where my life will go. You know, I think about my kids. I would never limit my kids' dreams. And sadly, parents do, but would you limit a kid's dreams? Would you limit your own dreams in the same way? Have you hung on to those things that have limited your dreams? You know, our perception of every situation of our lives is what limits us or allows us to grow. You know, I may seem like my present reality, but your present reality is only how you see it. If I see myself as less than, then my life becomes less than. When I see myself comfortable and I can say I am, I can, and I will, my life steps up to my highest vibration, my highest nature. I accomplish all that I need to accomplish. We talked about October 2nd, that I'll have a day off, and I shook my head back there because I don't have a day off. I have the fulfillment of a bucket list, a dream. I was asked to speak, to be one of the last speakers at Unity in Jupiter, Florida, which was the very first Unity I had gone to. It had been my dream since my very first day that I wanted to become a minister. And to be asked to do that is just an amazing thing. And this is a guy who thought his only gift in life was to turn a wrench. Our perception of the situation is us, but your present reality is how you see it. My father was a printer by trade until we moved to Cape Cod. He took what he thought was a lesser job, working for a foundation company. He was almost 40, and at the time, I thought he was old. Again, perception. But what he did was that he didn't understand that he did not change. And I don't think he ever saw it. To the world, he was a father providing a living for his family, but he didn't see it. He thought it was a step down because he was doing this physical, ball breaking work. He was the oldest guy working there, but he could throw around form foundations and lift cement hoses. But he was not happy because he felt defined and limited by what he did. I remember about 20 years ago, I took a job delivering used auto parts. It was all over New England. And if you'd asked me at 10, was that going to be your goal in life? I would have said, God, no. But I love that job. I love that job because I found a way to be the best me at it. First, I was able to figure out how to make good money. I wrote my own contract when I signed on, and that put me ahead of most of the other people that signed on who accepted the company's standard contract. But I could plot my routes in my head. I could minimize the amount of time spent at each stop because I got to know the customers. I got friendly with them. I knew where and what they wanted and what they expected, but I also got stronger. I mean, really strong. I built myself up so I can actually lift the car engine out of the back of the truck and set it to the ground. I could lift the truck bed and throw it in the back of my box truck. But not because I was an auto parts trucker, but because I was able to be the best me in that moment. I am, I will, I can. My efforts were in line with what I wanted out of that job. And what I wanted out of that job was to be the best provider and the best dad for my family. I will, I can, and I did. When I switch those efforts on in my life changes. I mean, how many people are their illness? How many people focus on their limits? You talk, but they always give you, but I can't, but this, but that. And that's fine, but they stay locked in that level. And I'm guilty of that too. Everyone is. But we have to become aware. You know, our limits are hard to overcome. Sometimes they're just glaring at us. And folks, look, I get fatigued so much sometimes. I get tired walking to my bedroom. My heart races when I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I have to lean on the counter. But that's not me, so I can't let it dictate me, because I will always find my way around that. When I have nothing left in the tank, I go to the gym. Sometimes it takes me months to build back up to a gym routine. But that doesn't mean that steps aren't being taken. That doesn't mean I've accepted I can't do this. I get frustrated at it and I get angry. That's my process, but I will fight through that. The first chapter of Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled, is about that. It's about I am and believing that we are working with power and confidence. Howard Falco, in his book I Am, says what separates those who experience the fulfillment of their desires from those who stay in want are their beliefs about who they are. And I heard a story last week. There was a comedian, Joe Coy. He so much believed in himself that he had his agent call Netflix and tell them to book a special for him. He had been doing comedy since 1989. And Netflix said no. In fact, they told him no 7 times. And he decided to film it anyway. He took all the money he had. He rented a place in Seattle, bought cameras, hired a film crew. And 3 days before he was going to shoot the special, Netflix called his agent again and said, we heard he's filming this special. Again, please tell him we don't want it. So he filmed it, and he edited it himself, and then he took it down to Netflix main office and dropped it off. Well, someone did watch it, and it was so good they called him up asking him not to shop it anywhere else, and they ordered 3 more specials. There's a heck of a lot of I am, I can, and I will in that. You look at Malala. Takes a lot of I am, I can, and I will for her to continue to get an education after being shot in the head. I don't care how small your town is. It's probably not smaller than the town that she was. And I don't know what you have to overcome, but to overcome walking out your door and having your government shoot you for wanting an education, just for going to school. And after being shot in the head, not only did she continue to get an education, she educated the world and became the youngest Nobel Prize winner at the age of 17. No, she just never gave up on her belief in herself. It's not about luck. It's not about randomness. They were not born into good fortune. It's not, oh, they got the breaks and I didn't. It's about the limits of your beliefs that you put on yourself, what you accept about yourself. You get to clean the slate each morning and start anew. In each moment, you can start anew and be confident in who you are. Because what you accept about yourself becomes a script that you choose to stick to. According, again, to the book I Am, your ego will verify the beliefs in yourself any way necessary to interpret the world until it fits into that script that you're accustomed to. You need to experience your dreams so they become your desires. You need to focus on them, knowing what your vacation will feel like, knowing what wholeness feels like. And this won't happen until you step into it. Visualize your life until you be comfortable, until you're comfortable seeing that person as you. Sit in that new car, sit in that vacation. Picture where you want to be till it fits you like a glove because it is yours. It is your personal desire. And when you start doing that, you change the script to the one that you want it to be. And then you take the steps unabashedly for you. Be proud of the steps you're taking. When nobody else does, you own them. It starts in your mind. You can let the ego take control of you and accept a limited script, or you can take control of the ego and accept unlimited possibilities. The right use of ego is to help you find your unlimited possibilities. It's not to tell you that you can't reach them or to set oneself above another. Ego, in the form of pride, is not really a bad thing. We hear that pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. Be proud of your dreams. Be proud of your triumphs. Be proud of your failed attempts. They all teach you something about you, and then you move forward. When we take pride in our life, we feel good about our life and the next step and the next attempt. Build pride into your comments. Picture a kid who's at bat and he misses the ball, and the coach yells, "Oh, you got to keep an eye on the ball. You can't follow it through. You got to focus, hit better." But if you change that comment to tell that kid, "What a great swing," when you get to the point where you can follow that ball from the pitcher's glove to the edge of the bat, you're going to be knocking them out of here. That kid's going to remember that swing. And each attempt is going to be better. But the thing is, as adults, we don't have those people telling us what we do right. We don't have those voices of positive reinforcement. So we have to get it from ourselves. We have to tell ourselves our dreams, our skills, all that we are worth the effort. They're worth the failed attempts. We have to accept that everyone has failed attempts. A failed attempt means I tried. What's the next step? Thank God I got that one out of the way. Because your ego is there to harmonize with your desires. Put your ego on trial every time you use an I am statement. Is your I am congruent with where you want your life to go? Or are you rationalizing that I am statement into something that matched your past script? Check to see if your I am is in line with your new reality. And some I am statements are unavoidable. I am hungry. I am tired. They're no big deal. But then others, I am a diabetic. I catch myself in this all the time. How can that not attach itself to you? And I do say it now and then. I work hard at catching myself. I even struggle when I say the term, I have diabetes. But when you put your I am on trial, ask if it's who you are, or if it's where you want to be, or if it's something that's a label that you don't want attached to you. Oftentimes people say, I am this, and there's a negative attachment that you bring toward yourself. Be I am happy, be I am loved, be I am whole, be I am healthy, be anything that you desire. You don't have to limit it. You want to be an astronaut, be an astronaut. You want to be a writer, Brenda, I know. You're a writer. Brenda published her book last year. All you have to do is believe that you can, you will, and then you will be. You know, change the I am to something like I am strong. After my heart surgery, I never once doubted that I was strong. And I couldn't take my first step without feeling like I was dying. And that first step was actually standing, clinging to a walker. But I was strong. The strongest steps I ever took were the steps when I went from my bed to the handrail. I was a superhero. I was Rocky Balboa and I could lift my body off the toilet. The nurses were very proud of that too. They were quite thrilled that they didn't have to help me. You know, and I talk about this stuff with you guys every so often because I want you to internalize it. So do you believe in your I am? What are your I am statements about yourself? Can you look at yourself and truly say, I am the true vine. I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the gate. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Because you are all of these things. I believe them about me, and therefore I believe them about you, and it works both ways. The most real thing in your life is your perception of self and life. You attain your perception by what you accept. I am, I can, I will. And with this, we get to do anything. So I'd like to bring this to a meditation. I will step away while we get some music. Our thoughts are praying, and we're always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a
place of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you are saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a place of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Again, thank you. I'd like to ask everyone to get themselves comfortable. Take in a deep breath and exhale. And begin to build your comfortable pace of breathing. We come together knowing that there is one power, one presence in the universe, God the good, great, working through us as love and wisdom, which is a true image of God. Now I invite you to find yourself at the dawn of a new day. The sun is rising. It's warm. It's your favorite, most hopeful spot to be at this time of day. Every future moment is laid out before you. I just want you to enjoy being you. Focus on all the best things about you. You're loving. You're hopeful. Kind. Content. Your life is all possibilities. Maybe you'll meet someone new. Maybe you'll pet a dog or run your hands across a kitten. Maybe listen to the wind rustle through the trees. In this moment, only thing that owns you is contentment and love. The past has released its grip and hold on you. The future is yet to happen. But in this moment, you are. You exist. You are whole. You are healthy. You are loved. And allow your body to stretch out a little bit as we come back. Feel your neck move. Loosen. Arms stretch and reach out. Feel your legs stretch and relax. Your back loosens. And we know that this moment we can come back to at any time. When we step away, we know that there's always contentment within us, that there's always love, hope, and wholeness. And I'd like you now to carry this feeling toward others. At any given moment, there's others in the world who are living their life. Some life's going along perfect. Others are fighting a battle. Some brave, some scared. Some just wondering. Some just missing a step. We hold those people in our thoughts and prayers. If you're watching at home, I always encourage you to write their name down or their initials or send just a little emoji. We pray for these people. We pray for them for the month. We do it on our prayer list. And we do it several times during the week. And for those here, think of someone that you love or care about and hold them in your thoughts. And see them with love and wholeness, health and wisdom. Feel their hand touch yours as an exchange of loving connection. And if you get a chance, just message them or call them. The fastest way to have a prayer land is to just call someone up and say, hi, just thinking about you. Direct action, it works so well. That's the bill collector or something. But care about others to reach out. I'd also like to do another prayer, and if I get someone to help me, a little prayer of tithes and offerings. And I'm not bringing this forward because I have a cheat sheet. It's right there. So with your hand over your heart, repeat after me our tithes and offerings blessing. Divine love adds me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is. Amen.
When
This whole world starts getting me down. People are just too much for me to face. I climb way up to the top of the stairs. All my cares just drift right into space. On the roof, it's peaceful as can be. There, the world below can't bother me. When I come home feeling tired and beat, I go up where the air is fresh as sweet. To get away from the hustle and crowd, all that rat race noise down on the street. On the roof's the only place I know. You just have to wish to make it so. Up on the roof, up on the roof, up on the roof.
Thanks, Father. I'd like to end this service with protection. The light of surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed. Amen. Let's join us as we close out this by our final song.
Let it be stronger and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, in oneness all are we. In love we walk with each other, in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, this truth is my choice found. To live each moment of love, each moment of peace, eternally.